a podcast by the Intergalactic Improv Initiative. Welcome to the Owlguard. Episode 1, Who Goes First? Featuring the voices of Kaya Renwick, Amanda Cotter, Abigail Carey, Leah Ryan, and JD Kelly as the Dungeon Master. Welcome, everybody, to Lapcinium City. This is a large city with many districts. There are people all over. There is an outer guard wall surrounding the city. It is a large stone-walled city with many districts, houses, councils, and all the moving parts you would see in a roaring city in Dungeons & Dragons. The four of you are fresh recruits who have just passed your initial training to the City Guard of Lapcinium City, the Owlguard. You are denoted as City Guard by the shoulder pauldron, the leather shoulder pauldron you wear over the top of your normal clothes, stained in a dark blue with a copper insignia of the face of an owl on it. It is essentially your badge, as it were. But far out of the walled city is where we find you all, at the limits of the city's jurisdiction. You've been brought by horse and cart to a house. I say a house, but it's more of a shack in comparison to the stone buildings in the Grand City. You've been sent by your sergeant, orders passed down from the commander, as your first investigation, which is into a murder victim. You've all passed your training in different parts of the city, and therefore have not trained together, as to avoid rivalries between students as they are taught how to be city guards. You are put with recruits from other training facilities across the city. The city's big enough that it's possible that you've run into each other at various parts in your adventures around the city, but you may have gone entirely without seeing any of each other at all. There is a weary corporal standing by the shack, leaning up against the wall, chewing on an errant bit of wheat, who has been guarding the shack, waiting for the investigators to come and have a look at the body, and is planning on leaving you in charge of the scene. As the cart approaches and slows down and the horse grinds to a halt, the corporal comes up to you and says to you all, "Hello there! I'm Corporal Lafferty. It's glad you finally got here. It's taken ages. I've practically fallen asleep waiting for you all. But as you're finally here, I can get on with business and get back to my bed. Guard of the watch, confirm all are present. Everybody line up. Come on, off the cart." He ushers you all from the cart to line up and asks you all for roll call. List off your names, describe yourself so we're aware the correct people have actually turned up for duty. And Kaya, could you tell us who you are, who your character is, and as if there was a passive perception of your character, let us know what they look like and therefore what type of character they are.
Yeah, of course. So at the the corporal? Was it a corporal or sergeant?
It's a corporal.
Corporal, thank you. At the corporal's bidding, a tall, broad-shouldered, olive-skinned half-elf with dark brown hair in cornrow braids, and the sides of her head are shaved, and the braids reach to about her shoulder blades. They're tied together with a leather tie. She hops off the cart gracefully, clatters a little bit. She's wearing the dark blue leather pauldron of the Owlguard, as well as boots and gauntlets that are definitely considerably more expensive than the rest of her gear. And they match. They're immaculately polished. They are in perfect condition. and they match the halberd that is strapped to her back. She hops off, strikes a perfect at attention pose, and Lavinia Gray, reporting for duty.
Fantastic. And Abigail, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, so I am jumping lithely and gracefully off the cart, ready to take my place, very eager. Hi, yes, I have black hair, long black hair that's tied tidily back in a long braid. I'm fidgeting with my uniform just to make sure everything is perfect. I want to appear. I'm ready to be here. I'm ready to do my duty and do well by the city, making sure my weapons are not in a place where I can accidentally stab someone. But yes, I appear young, but don't let that fool you. You can trust me. I am eager to do a good job here. My eyes are a dark blue, because it matters. I don't know. But yes, yeah, I'm here, reporting for duty, sir. Aletheia Wren is my name.
Fantastic. Leah?
There is a tiefling in the back of the cart who has really messy hair. So messy and like almost intentionally like puffed up so you can like barely see her horns like poking out of her hair. She's got light blue, purplish skin and black eyes. And she kind of like scoots towards the front of the cart, trying to like make herself as small as possible as she like scrambles down. She's about average height, but appears smaller because she does not want to be perceived. And so where you guys are standing proudly at attention, she does it, but it's kind of like, just trying to appear as small, maybe is like standing slightly further back, forward. Sid, here.
Fantastic.
Does not say last name.
And Amanda?
Absolutely. You see a small 3'8" inches tall, Lightfoot halfling. Rolled a 7 on my check that I gave myself. So you see her kind of trip a little bit, stumble, and recover as quickly and slightly embarrassed as she can as she's getting out of the cart. She has honey brown hair in a pixie cut, and warm light skin that's covered in freckles, bright icy blue eyes, and nondescript, she's wearing very nondescript, like earthy toned clothes, just like a loose shirt, trousers, leather boots. She has black nail polish and a lyre on her back. A small lyre, a musical instrument, not another creature. And you may also observe that her right hand never seems to stray far from her pocket.
Oh. I love that you gave yourself a check. Like, it's making my job... If you're giving yourselves roles, it's making my job very easy.
Yay! Couldn't help myself. And I almost forgot to give... when she reaches the line with everyone, she says, Quillow Bractknoll, at your service.
Corporal Lafferty. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I just wanted to mention, just in case I did forget, I'm human. Just to put it out there.
Quillow mumbles, that's an odd thing to say. Note that for me.
The fourth wall has already been broken.
In good tradition.
You are all good. But yes, Corporal Lafferty looks you all up and down in a judgmental manner and looks at Lavinia and says, well, I suppose at least one of you remembered to say, sir. You're a sorry bunch. What can I say? This is ridiculous, quite frankly. but it'll do, I suppose. I just want to go home to my bed. Right. Any questions for me, or do you all just want to get stuck in? He seems unaware of the lack of information you have all been given.
Quillow raises her hand ever so slightly and says, Sir? Why are we here?
Have you not been told anything? This is ridiculous. I sent perfectly clear instructions. I suppose the young lad might not have known everything. Right. There's a body in the house. It is of a magistrate for the city. The magistrate's wife is also missing, but this is not the magistrate's house. He lives in the city. She's not there either. But this dwelling is not listed as an asset belonging to the magistrate. We have no, official documents for this domicile. I suppose not, nor would there be for such a basic structure out here in the wilderness. But he's died inside. He's been shot with an arrow. Probably best we find out by who and either bring back the information of who killed him or the person who killed him. That would be very useful.
Lavinia will very politely raise her hand. And she will wait to be called upon.
And Corporal Lafferty nods at you and then goes, yeah, go on. Yes, what do you want?
Do we know when the last time the magistrate was seen in the city?
Last time? I mean, I don't personally keep track of the magistrates of the city. But as he'd not been reported missing, I would suppose that fairly recently.
How do we know that the wife is not in the city, sir?
We don't know. That's hence missing.
I understand. Thank you.
Aletheia Wren will also shakily raise her hand. Permission to speak, sir?
For crying out loud, you're no longer recruits. Just ask me a damn question.
Yes, of course, sir. Sorry. Do we have any leads yet, sir? Did the magistrate have enemies that we should know about?
Do I look like a magistrate babysitter? No! That's why you're here to investigate!
Quite so.
Was I born yesterday? I must have been born yesterday.
Will we be gaining admittance to the magistrate's estate in the city, sir?
If you like. I mean, you should probably start with the murder, here.
Thank you, sir.
Permission to enter?
Yeah, of course. That's why you're here.
Corporal Lafferty needs a drink.
Obsidian kind of just scampers in to the building.
Lavinia will follow.
Lafferty hops ass onto the back of the cart, slaps the side of it, and says, "Go on yourself, man." And as the cart trundles away into the distance, he does shout back at you all. "Oh, one more thing! Welcome to the Owlguard!"
I can tell this is going to be a hoot.
Thank you, sir.
No.
Oh, I know. I'm so excited, aren't you guys? Before we all go in, Aletheia would like to just take a cursory look at the shack, the outside, see if there's footprints, suspicious stuff, I guess it's a shack, it's already breaking down, but is there anything suspicious, a getaway, breaking and entering, blood, footprints away?
Fantastic. You could give me a perception check. It'll be on your skills.
Sure.
Or if you want to, you could use investigation.
Okay.
At any point throughout all of this, all of you can roll and do checks with any of your skills, because they will all tell you different things.
Well, in grand fashion for my first roll, it was a nat 1.
No!
And I got +1, so that was a 2. I'm so excited about being here and doing a good job. I can't see anything.
Yeah, you look around the shack and you can see it's kind of quaint. It's kind of cute. There's like a garden out front, but you're kind of more focused on the fact that it is quaint and cute and kind of don't look at the details.
Oh my god, I could, like, live here.
I've rolled a 23 total for an investigation check, and Lavinia is going to be, like, looking as she goes in sort of over Sid's shoulders and, like, just kind of taking in whatever is there if the door's been forced or anything out of the ordinary.
Okay, so you're doing that for the inside rather than the external?
Yes, like as I go in, checking the door, but I'm not looking at the outside of I'm not doing a once around first.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So on that higher roll, as you walk in to this shack, the first thing you notice is the body on the floor in front of the bed and the pool of blood that is around it. And as you scan your eyes around the room, you see a fairly competent small shack. This is a small dwelling where at most 3 people, but it would be, 2 adults and a child would be the most you'd really have in a place like this. As a single bed. It's a double bed, but it's the only sleeping place in the room. A child would need a cot or something similar. There is a sort of a kitchen area, and there is sort of some tables and chairs and bits and pieces. And there's a few windows around. You do notice that one of the windows is broken. And you can see the crossbow bolt sticking out of the back of the magistrate, who is lying face down in the pool of blood. But you also notice irregularities around the room. Things like there are dishes on the side, but you're not even sure that they've been used. But they haven't been put away. There are dishes with food on the table, but the food has rotted, like a long time ago rotted. But if this was only reported recently, it wouldn't have had time to rot. So it's very unusual. What you can also see is that the broken window is to the side of the magistrate, but the crossbow bolt is in their back and they've fallen away from the bed. So it does not look like the crossbow came through the broken window.
Will you allow me to ask follow-up questions?
Of course.
Is there any broken glass on the floor?
No.
How wet is the pool of blood?
The pool of blood is tacky to the touch. Because you rolled so high in investigation, you can tell by the tackiness of the blood that the victim has probably been killed within the last 48 hours.
Okay. So the crossbow bolt is sticking out of the magistrate's back. Are his clothes also bloodstained? Like, does what he's wearing match the supposed manner of death?
Yes.
Okay. If I try to move a limb or roll him slightly, do his limbs move at all? And is there color in the front of his face that is abnormal?
There is some movement in the limbs, but rigor has certainly set in by this point. This does fit with the rough 48 hours, perhaps less, you're thinking now, as you manipulate the body slightly, and you can see the eyes have started to cloud as the victim's been led face down in death, and their skin is taking on that slightly waxen texture. Yeah, it all fits. Maybe actually you're thinking 36 hours now rather than 48.
Okay. From the positioning of the bed and the body, does it look like he was on the bed and fell, or he was in front of the bed and fell? Like distance-wise?
It looks like they were in front of the bed and they were shot from the bed.
From the bed. Okay. Is the bed made?
No, it is not. Leah, you had your hand up as well.
I don't mean to interrupt. If I was just gonna I think Sid would like put their hand on like a somewhat rotted wooden panel and do like an Arcana check to see if anything here feels magical.
Nice, yeah, please do. The rest of you are seeing Lavinia like almost obsessively get stuck into the work. They are looking at this like an absolute professional. You would not think of them as a new recruit because they are clearly knowing what they're looking for and doing like, you know, prodding the body and trying to figure out what's going on with them. And it's sort of like, this let's see where this goes. So what was your Arcana check?
I got an 8.
Yeah.
You place your hand on the wall and reach out with your affinity with Arcana. And something is tingling, but not here. This place, this shack, this room has nothing in terms of magical or to do with the arcane about it. But there is certainly something nearby, but on that lower roll, unfortunately, you don't know where it is. Aletheia, yes.
Can I use whatever knowledge I have from my backstory to kind of insight or history check if the magistrate, what I know about the magistrate?
100%, yes. Give me a history roll.
Okay, dice, don't fail me again. Come on. This is going in dice jail already. I rolled a 2, so that makes it a 5.
No.
You are going away.
Oh, no.
The magistrate looks familiar. They've said a magistrate, and you're like, yeah, that's definitely one of the magistrates. I've seen them before, but I can't, just the names, just like, it's like on the tip of your tongue, and you can't think of who they were or what they did specifically.
Frustrating.
Lavinia, back to you.
Yeah. Okay. I would like to... I'm going to take a little bit of a closer look at the bed. And I will coast on this 23 as long as you'll let me, but make me roll again whenever or for specific things. So I'm going to like pick up whatever blankets are there and just kind of like shuffle them around a bit, look to see if there's anything there. I'm going to look at the ceiling above the bed, look behind the bed, look under the bed, because this is, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the only thing in the cabin that looks like that would be most recently used, because the food's long gone off. And so this, and there's no glass in front of the window, like inside from the window. So, this is where my attention is currently focused is, okay, is this also old news or is there something else here?
You notice that despite the bedding looking ruffled and slept in, no one has slept in this bed. The sheets are not dirty. They are old. Some of them are moth-eaten. No one's been sleeping in this bed, but it is here. When you try to look underneath the bed, you realize that you can't. And when you look to the side of the bed, you see the scratchings along the floor of where this bed perhaps was not always in this position.
Would you allow me to make an athletics check to shove this bed out of the way?
Oh, 100% yes.
Okay, let me grab my with my +6 to athletics. I'll take that.
Damn.
Imagine.
That's another 23. That's a 17 on the die.
Gosh.
I'm gonna get it all out at the beginning.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm expecting like she's gonna try to kick the bed and it's gonna break or something. Like, yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
You're stealing Abigail's roles at this point.
Yeah, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
See, I was thinking Abigail's going to take us up at the end. And
We can hope.
That's going to be where...
There we go. I'm just gonna be passing the torch.
Lavinia, what? Okay. As you're looking at the bed, the backboard of the bed is up against the wall. There is a left side of the bed that has a sort of a bedside table next to it with a small candelabra. There is a right side of the bed, which does not have a bedside table by it, and then there is the foot of the bed, which is poking out into the room. The body is just beyond the foot of the bed, maybe 5 feet away from it. What side or front of the bed are you bracing against and pushing?
So my first thought is that I would push it in the direction where there is no bedside table. But I'm going to double check. Does that look like that's the direction it came from based on the scratches on the floor?
That is where the scratches are, in that direction, yes.
Okay, then I'm going to push it where there is no, or push or pull, whatever side I'm on, doesn't really matter, into the space where there is nothing impeding it.
Lavinia braces themselves against the bed and sets their feet firmly into the floorboards. As you start to hear the popping of springs and the grinding of metal and the occasional ping as steel is being forced out of its position. Oof. The bed does not move for a few moments, and then it moves all at once as the mechanism that was keeping the bed in place is broken by force, and the bed slides across the floor, and Lavinia is upended into the bed by the trapdoor underneath that opens up, sending them onto the bed, which blissfully it is soft enough to break their fall and they do not injure themselves.
Well, that's good. I also rolled a 3 dex save, so I figure this is not a graceful fall whatsoever. There's flailing.
Yeah, you flail over the bed and, in fact, overshoot the bed in your roll and end up on the floor, halberd at a strange angle.
Are you okay?
She freezes, and she blushes red as a tomato, doesn't answer for a second, and then very carefully gets up. Thank you, I'm fine.
Okay, cool.
That was amazing. You're so strong.
Thank you. It is one of my more useful traits, I suppose. Look, a trapdoor.
Yeah.
Quillow all this time has been holding a little notebook, little parchment pad in her hands, and scribbling everything that she's seen with a little pencil. And at seeing all this transpire, Quillow is going to run an investigation or an insight check on Lavinia really quickly. So that is... What's my modifier? That is an 18, and Quillow would like to note 2 things. 1, how was she so good at finding out what's happening here? And 2, is she really okay?
Quillow goes, that's suspicious that she found that so fast.
JD, do you want me to roll to contest this? How do you want me to do this?
If you would like to keep details of your feelings and who you are secret, then yes, I would like you to roll to contest it. But if you are open with who you are and what you are feeling, then...
Okay, do you want to...
Take that as a no.
Yeah, no. Do you want a contested insight or do you want a deception check?
A deception would be lovely.
Okay. I feel unless I meet or beat you, you're finding out. So here we go. Yeah, no, that's a 3.
Yes.
So you... Are you saying anything to her, or are you just observing? Just so I know what to give you.
Absolutely. Quillow is simply observing.
Okay. Then you get... you're watching her very carefully, and she has, clasped her hands in front of her, and despite being 6 foot tall and built like an Amazon, she would like nothing more than to evaporate into thin air right now. But you witness the very well-trained mannerisms of someone who has lived in noble courts and does exactly what is expected of her at all times. As I'm not sure. So, is she really okay? She's not injured. But is she okay? Probably not. As to how she knew, I'm not sure what more you would get from her body language, but I'm sure you could extrapolate, or you could probably ask her, and based on how much she is entirely ashamed of making a fool of herself at the moment, she probably won't be able to not tell you.
Absolutely. Okay, well, JD.
Aletheia and Obsidian, can you both roll me history checks?
Ooh. History.
Oh, baby. Yeah, I could roll high.
Yay!
Let's go.
Your dice have high numbers on them? Congrats.
I know.
Little did we know Abigail's actually been rolling a d4 this whole time.
Yeah, right. I rolled a dirty 20.
Nice.
Woo!
Yes.
I got an 18.
Yes. 18. Hot damn.
Fantastic. So you would both know a little bit about this in this moment of flusteredness and somebody looking so prim and proper. Lavinia did mention that their surname was Grey. On a history check of 18 and above, Kaya, could you let us know what they would know about the family Grey?
Sure. So the family Grey is a half-elven noble family of the city, quite well respected, and known for being very, very pious. They donate huge amounts of money to the Healing Hand of Mishakal, and they're very vocal about their support for this particular religious organization, and by extension, most hospitals or healing centers in the city, and any charity that seeks to do good in the city. It is one of those they're so prim and proper and perfect that probably a lot of people are sus, but there hasn't been a good scandal in quite a long time. So they're kind of just that annoyingly goody two-shoes family that goes to temple every twice a week, if not 3 times. That sort of stuff. There's probably a hospital named after them or something like that. So, yeah.
Quillow, you also know the family name, but you didn't need to roll for it because you actually read the article in a newspaper about the family Grey and the work they've been doing in the temples where the sick get taken in order to look after those people and create charitable donations because their coffers were large. So you also know about this backstory as well. Leah, go ahead.
Sid is just, upon realizing who you are, angling away so that my profile is facing you and doing that thing where you like untuck your hair from your ears so it falls as far in front of their face as possible. Just like pulling their bangs down so it's like very angsty emo scene kid. like barely can see through their hair at this point.
Love that.
That's all.
Can Obsidian please give me a Constitution save?
Oh god.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no. I rolled a 5 plus my Constitution, which is 8.
So that is not great. In that case, can the rest of you please roll me perception checks?
Oh, happily.
And can Obsidian give me a sleight of hand check, please?
Ooh.
Yes.
That's a 15 from
Loving
me.
all these checks.
Perception roll.
Yes, please.
That was a 7.
I rolled a natural 1.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Join
Leah, are you rolling on Google again?
No, I rolled with an actual die. Look at it. It's beautiful. It just failed
fine.
me.
You're just cursed. Okay.
In that case, the rest of you just full on see Sid go up to the table with the rotting food on plates and just start putting silverware in their pocket. Just, yep, another one. They clear the table of the silverware. You can hear
Do
it.
I notice that they're seeing this?
You're not being subtle. I think it's fairly obvious. The jingle jangle of it in your pocket is kind of making it obvious for anyone in the room. Yes, so you can tell that they can tell.
It's evidence. So I just need to take it because it's evidence. So I'm putting it. It's evidence, and I keep doing it.
Quillow looks very skeptically at Sid and raises an eyebrow, saying, "Isn't it proper policy not to disturb evidence in an investigation?"
Tell that to the paladin who's been moving the body.
That's different. They're royal.
Yeah, can't argue with me. I have letters. I just took the liberty of rolling an insight check on Sid, which came out as a natural 20. Plus 2, so a 22 total. And I'm just like, I think I see through pretty fast that's not what we were taught to do with evidence. But what I'm looking at is, are you okay? Why are you doing this? What is going on here?
Obsidian can roll either a deception or performance. If you think you can break that 22.
Good Lord. Oh, God damn. Hold on. Ooh. You know what? I am actually proficient in deception, so who's to say? Maybe? I rolled a 6, so I'm not that proficient.
That was a valid effort.
In that case, from the insight, what can they gather, or what does Obsidian say?
I think outwardly, Obsidian's just like, I didn't learn evidence very well. Sorry. Continues putting forks into their pack. It's pretty clear by their body language. I think that there's like a perpetual shake in their hands, and it's an anxious tick.
Quillow is still going to roll another insight check here on you, and so that's a 19. Knowing how things, how people are, a student of the human condition, one might say. Quillow would like to notice whether this is truly an anxious tick, or whether perhaps there is some sort of addiction or withdrawal that is forcing Sid's kind of twitching and taking.
I think when they pick up like each fork, like for a second, they like stroke the metal of it, and it's for a second like they're shaking soothe for a second. It's like a self-soothing.
Would the word compulsion be accurate?
Very much.
Okay, good. Noting that. Thank you.
As this is going on, Aletheia was first in awe of Lav's enormous strength, and then everything went crazy, and Sid started stealing the cutlery, and I'm just gonna, I'm a little disturbed, so I am going to look around and ignore everything and see if there's anyone I can feel, like, do I sense anyone that's watching us, like, from the shack?
So would you like to do a perception here?
I would...
Or because perception isn't just visual. There's
Okay.
Your hearing, your senses, and all those kinds of ways. So if you're sort of reaching out with your feelings, as it were, to go, are we being watched in some way? That's a great way of doing it.
Okay, yeah, perception. We'll roll that. Ooh. That is, where is my perception? That is a 19.
Ooh.
Awesome. You don't get a sense of somebody watching you. However, what you do get a sense of is that the air in the room has changed. That as soon as that trap door opened, an unpleasant aroma has come up from it.
Ew.
It's sort of a sense of like this room has rotting food in it and moth-eaten fabric, so it doesn't smell great, but it's just kind of musty. The smell coming from down there is more of a rot and sort of the smell of rotting flowers and sort of slightly coppery kind of note. It's unpleasant and sets your nerves on edge.
Guys, I know there's a lot going on right now, but do you smell that? It smells like... I give them the description of whatever I smell.
Yes.
And then at mentioning it, the rest of you certainly do go, oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, there is something slightly different there, yeah.
Okay, at that point, I would like to use my divine sense. And I'm looking for the presence of any, like a place or object that has been consecrated or desecrated. I would also be able to sense any celestial fiends or undeads within 60 feet of me that are not behind total cover, but seeing as there's nobody in here, I don't think that's going to be a problem. But yeah, I'm just basically like opening myself up to sense things.
We're sensing?
Absolutely brilliant. With the celestial sense, do you need to roll anything for that?
I do not. No, it is just a level 1 paladin ability.
Let's go.
Wow.
Amazing.
Just completely OP.
It only lasts until the end of my next turn. It's not that OP.
Yeah, something has been desecrated.
Oof.
In a downwards direction. There is something underneath this place that feels wrong to you. It feels, that feeling in your chest when someone you find something distasteful. Like, it's a slight gut punch of like, that's offensive. It's that feeling. But with religion behind it. Like, there is a displeasure of the gods down there.
As Aletheia mentions this, Lavinia steps around to get a closer look at the trapdoor, gets a face full of the air, steps back, mutters something under her breath and kind of shivers, and then gets her halberd off and holds it in front of her and looks around to the others and says, "Something is very, very wrong here. We must be careful."
Do you indicate where that wrongness is coming from?
I think because I'm staring at the trapdoor, I might point at it with the halberd.
Obsidian, you now, with this knowledge, can also realize that feeling of something arcane, it's the same direction.
Okay.
Okay, so there's definitely... We're possibly about to enter some dangerous territory?
Before this happens, can I approach the body?
Yeah.
I'm gonna summon a little mage hand to press down on the body so I don't have to touch it. And then with my two hands that are not the mage hand, I want to pull out the arrow to investigate if it looks like it was like poisoned or if it is any particular make and model that a certain group maybe made or something like that.
Sure, yeah. You could either give me a history or an investigation roll, something like that, for looking at the arrow. With the mage hand and using your strength, even though the body is in slight rigor, it's not like a barbed arrow or anything, a bolt, I should say. So you do pull it out successfully.
I definitely make like a ew sound when it comes out.
There's a particularly wet, squelchy, sticky as it comes out.
Okay. 14.
So this is a fairly mundane crossbow bolt. The bolt took the magistrate between the ribs and went straight to the heart and killed them fairly efficiently. It's not poisoned.
Good shot.
It is a good shot, yeah. But it's a shot from close range. It's very hard to miss. But it looks like a fairly kind of like mundane make. You've seen 1,000 of these, like thousands and thousands. They would be in weapon stores around Lapcinium City. They would be in the barracks with all the crossbows that you'd have there. It's just your kind of bog standard crossbow bolt. It is not a hunter's bolt.
It's the same that we use, though?
Yes, but you would also see them in various weapons stores around the city as well. So it's your standard crossbow bolt, but not for hunting, for warfare.
Okay. Interesting. I'm gonna take the arrow and slam it back down into the hole and just go best not to misplace the evidence, right? I'm learning. And I take a step back.
Oh my god, Quillow's just shocked and says, Yes, good job, you are learning.
Aletheia.
We might need to hold your hands the entire investigation. While that is going on, we noticed that there was no glass inside from the window, but can I go and investigate the window and see if there's like glass on the outside or anything that could give me more evidence and insight into the situation?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So roll me an investigation roll.
Okay. That is a 16.
16.
Yay!
Yeah, you do see glass on the sort of a vegetable bed up against the side of the shack, and you can see that outside the window and see the bits of glass just on the soil and bits of plant detritus that is there, and you can see what looks like a teacup out just a little bit beyond that as well, and you realize that it is the only teacup missing from its saucer on the table.
Interesting. Is there blood or anything?
Nothing.
Okay. Is the teacup intact?
It looks chipped and worn and old. Looks like it was probably damaged whilst being yeeted out of the window. But it is mostly intact, yes. Quillow.
I would like to run one more investigation check to see if they're either in the room or on the magistrate's person are any notes or letters or other form of documentation that I might be able to read through. Loot that body.
Loot that body.
So the room and the body.
Yeah, but it's only a 7, so I don't.
Is that for the room or the body? I was just about to ask you to roll 2 separate checks because those are 2 different things.
Oh, that's for the room.
Okay.
We'll roll another one for the body.
Okay.
Wow, even worse. That's a 4.
In both cases, you don't find anything beyond what we found so far. As you go through the pockets of the magistrate, you find nothing. Absolutely nothing. Which in itself...
suspicious in and of itself.
...is unusual. Lavinia.
I just wanted a quick clarification, JD. When I used my divine sense, did I only sense that the place was desecrated, or did I sense any being within that 60-foot radius?
You sensed a place that has been desecrated.
Okay, thank you. So Lavinia is currently, keeping an eye on what's going on down there, because she's noticing that everybody else is, doing their thing. And so she's staying put and making sure that nothing jumps out from there and tries to kill them.
And with that, Quillow notices Lavinia still staring intently at the trapdoor, wanders up next to her, and says, "So who's going in first?"
You have been listening to Welcome to the Owlguard, Episode 1, Who Goes First? Featuring the voices of Kaya Renwick as Lavinia Gray, Amanda Cotter as Quillow Bractknoll, Leah Ryan as Obsidian Capel, Abigail Carey as Aletheia Wren, and JD Kelly as everyone and everything else. Music and sound effects are used under Creative Commons or royalty-free license. For extended credits, please read the show notes, and for more information, visit ishouldroll.com. Find us everywhere on social media as I Should Roll, and consider leaving us a review. Welcome to the Owlguard is an Intergalactic Improv Initiative production based on the system Dungeons & Dragons, in accordance with their guidelines as of March 2025. Thank you for listening.